Thank you for your interest in registering Oklahoma Vital Event Records online, also known as ROVER. ROVER has been used to register birth certificates since 2009 and death certificates starting in 2010. Our funeral homes have been mandated by the state to use our system and is currently still optional for physicians. According to Oklahoma Statute Title 63, Chapter 1, Article 3, Section 1-317, a death certificate for each death which occurs in this state shall be filed with the State Department of Health within 3 days after such death. Even though you don't use it now, the paper form that you currently use is transported to a state office and has to be manually entered into ROVER. These extra steps make it longer to help a family through a difficult time and get financial and personal situations cleared up. So thank you again for taking the initiative to learn about our program and taking a step towards helping our Oklahoma families in a much more timely manner. Let's get started. This is ROVER's main page. A couple keys to making your ROVER experience a great one. First, please use Internet Explorer. If you can, find version 9 or 10. Otherwise, ensure you are viewing the web page in compatibility mode. Second, ensure you have Adobe Acrobat Reader installed. These two work together to display our website and help you print draft files. They can be downloaded through our First Time Users link at the bottom of this page, or by searching Google for them. To start, all you have to do is click the Login button. You will then be taken to a page asking for your username and password. The production site will not have the "This is training" warning you see here. For our example, we are typing in Training Assistant with a preset temporary password. When you log in with your temporary password, you will be asked to create a new one, as well as setting up a personal question and personal answer. Your password must be between 8 and 13 characters long, contain a number, a special character, and have a mix of upper and lowercase letters. Once you log in, you will be taken to a ROVER starting screen. You will be able to see any records assigned to your physician here. When you see a case pending in the Open Cases queue, you click Process to enter the data and get the record ready for the physician to sign. Now that we've clicked Process for our Test 3 time death, we see that ROVER is a tab-based system. At the top, you see tabs 1 through 10. As a physician's assistant, you will be able to enter data into tabs 6 through 9. Funeral homes will use tab 10 to give you specifics, so you can start there to get the date of death, time of death, and place of death. These items can be seen in the comments section on tab 10. The physician owns this information, so if there is a disagreement with these facts, you are okay to go with the one that you feel is accurate. Once you have this information, go ahead and move to tab 6. Some of the information will be filled out for you automatically, and others will be filled out as you make certain selections. ROVER is a tab-based system in more ways than one. Throughout this video, I will be using the mouse to help illustrate where I'm going, but when you go through the system, you will want to use the tab key on your keyboard to navigate. This will ensure that drop-down selections made are committed on the web page and will help ensure you don't get warning pop-up messages unnecessarily. Here we'll select the place of death and make the appropriate selection. Then you can tab out of it to the next area and select the appropriate hospital. In these fields, you can quickly type the first few letters of the hospital and the selections will jump to that area. Notice once I've tabbed out of the selection, ROVER has auto-populated the name and address information for us. After finishing out tab 6 with the medical examiner questions, we can click Next at the bottom to move to the next section, tab 7. In tab 7, we are entering the cause of death. Please note the instructions at the top telling us not to enter the mode of dying and warning us not to abbreviate. After you have entered in a cause and time set, click Next to go to the next tab. Here we can see that Rover has caught for us that we have entered in a mode or condition of dying and not an actual cause. This is great because warnings serve to help ensure that we do not get a record returned to us for incomplete information. Rover is set to use these as soft edits, meaning you can ignore them at your own peril. A record without a complete cause of death will ultimately be recorded as unknown to the National Center for Health Statistics. Too many unknowns being reported will result in negative consequences to our state. This is why it is vital that you do everything you can to ensure the record is complete, including an underlying cause of death. Notice that after I enter an underlying cause of death and interval, I can continue without error. Box 35 is important because it allows you to type out in your own words things about this death. Using vague terminology in this box by saying things like probably or presumed in an explanation here is okay. It is realistic that you cannot know for certain how someone died every time. Let's click Next to get to tab 8 and continue. Tab 8 information includes items like the manner of death, pregnancy information, the tobacco question, and information concerning injury and transport information. Please note that you will only be selecting natural for the manner of death. Anything else would require going through the medical examiner. Also notice that many sections are grayed or yellowed out. If you see sections like this, it means that you should not make selections here, and the system is stopping you from trying. Sections like the place of injury and transportation injury exhibit this. The pregnancy question is yellowed out here because our person, test 3 time, is listed as a male. Please note that the pregnancy field will only open up if the patient is a female and between the ages of 5 and 75. This is in accordance with state law. If the patient is a female and outside this range, this section will be yellowed out, like it is here for males. After selecting natural, we can move to the tobacco question. This question relates to if the person that is deceased personally used tobacco and it contributed to their death. You would not check this box if the cause was due to secondhand smoke or other related illnesses not caused by their personal use of tobacco. After completing this information, we can move to tab 9 by clicking Next. In tab 9, you select who you are in relation to this person and their death. The selections you would make here are either physician in attendance at time of death only, or physician in charge of the patient's care. After making the selection, notice that all the other fields are yellowed out. See how your information is already entered into box 46 and your address information and license number is entered in box 47 and 48 automatically. The certification date is yellowed out as well. You'll never manually be entering a date into this box. This information is automatically populated with the date when the physician signs the record. You can click Next to see tab 10, or you can click Finish straight from this tab. Please remember, you will almost never change anything in tab 10. Again, it is used to attempt to gather information about the POD, DOD, and TOD. The only other time you would use tab 10 is when you receive a record erroneously. At that time, you could use this tab to refer to another physician. That box is seen directly under the Comments section. You should never have to decline to certify. If it's not your case, you can just refer to another physician, and this will move the case out of your queue seen on the main page. Notice how Rover gives a few more warnings before letting you completely save the record. These warnings are telling us the record needs to be certified, signed, or dropped to paper. Since we are getting this record ready to be signed, these warnings can be ignored. Notice how the errors have a blue title with black descriptions under them. The blue title is a hyperlink, and clicking on it will take you to the appropriate tab in Rover to correct information. This is very useful if you accidentally forgot to fill out the cause of death, or missed the tobacco question, or something like that. Then we would see these warnings about those questions being missed, and could click the blue title and be taken straight to that question to correct it. Even if you missed these questions, any error on this page can be ignored, and you can at least save the record. This is important if you get interrupted or have to stop in the middle of completing a certificate. You can just save as pending with the errors and come back to complete the rest at any time. Since we have finished this record correctly and can ignore the errors, let's click Save as Pending below and continue trying to get the record ready for the physician to sign. This page shows us that we can print a draft. Many hospitals have a system worked out where the PA prints out the draft and shows it to the physician. The physician can make notes telling them what needs to be changed or tell them everything looks good. If anything needs to be changed, you would just log back in and make the changes and go through the printing again if necessary. Let's click the Generate Document button to see what this will look like. Click the View Download button to bring up the draft we just generated. From here, you can print the document and close the window to get back to Rover. Sometimes you will see an error about contact information at the top of this screen. This error may or may not be visible, depending on if we have all the contact information for everyone tied to the record. Regardless, you can always ignore this message if it is visible. Let's click Main Menu to get completely out of this record and back to our main page with the queue. This is the process many PAs go through to get a record ready for a physician to sign. Once you have shown the draft to them and it is ready to sign, the physician will log into the system with their information and actually certify the record. There is a different training video for them explaining this process. When you are finished, you can log out by clicking Log Out in the upper right part of the screen. This is the end of our online Rover training. Completing a record in Rover should only take a few minutes. If you are having any issues with drop-down selections, printing, or just feel like completing the record is taking a long time, contact us and we can help. Please go back to the website to fill out a form with your personal information. There will also be a quiz in the form for you to complete. Once you are finished, you will need to save and email it to us. We will review the form and get your account set up so you can be able to start using Rover. Thank you again.